Yes, it certainly is.
Lady Edison told me you were to be going to attend tonight, and that you had some other important business to attend to.
No, I hadn't. But I had an accident.
Richard, I thought you were detained.
So did I.
Mr. Mimon, it's nice to see you. Why the unexpected visit?
Well, my car broke down just outside the gates, so it was a stroke of luck. How are things with you and Anthony?
Funny you should ask. Anthony proposed to me last week. But when Daddy found out, he said no.
Why ever not?
He doesn't want me married to a policeman.
General!
Mr. Mimon?
How's things?
Oh, struggling along.
Well, now that we're all introduced, I think we shall proceed to dinner. Lady Edison.
Yes?
Where is our host, Lord Edison?
He'll be in there already. Every dinner party we have, he always goes in early. Straighten the chairs, pour some wine, make sure it looks good.
It's terrible!
What could that possibly?
Laura, what is it? No, not Arthur. No!
I'm sorry. He's gone.
Everybody, back to the sitting room. Hello. A pendulum.
Very peculiar.
Quite.
The clock's missing a pendulum. It fits.
Look at your watch. It's 8:30 and it's 8:15 on the clock. When the pendulum was removed, the clock stopped at exactly 8:15, which means he's only been dead a couple of minutes. The murderer's still here. This is a dark hour. Our good friend Lord Edison is dead, and one of us in this room did it. I'm a trained police officer, and I'm taking control.
Call it a detective, Anthony. You don't know what you're doing.
Don't I? Question time. Laura first. Everyone out. Come on. Quickly.
You heard the man. Let's go.
Now, if you're not careful, you might get us both locked up in prison.
Oh, Richard, don't creep up on me like that.
I've found something.
What's in there?
Retrieve this from the wardrobe of the Lord Edison. Our suspicions were correct.
At 7:15, I was preparing dinner. Then at 7:30, I brought it in.
I had some tax that was overdue, you see.
Oh, and it was so good to see Mrs. Edison come in too.
It would have been around 7:45.
And I was hoping to finish it tonight and get it off to the department.
Just in time for when Mr. Mimon arrived.
And my car broke down. And to my luck, just outside the Edison mansion.
Then I handed around drinks in the lounge.
7:55. It didn't take long for me to realise that it wasn't going to start again.
And then I went out again to get more drinks.
So I returned to the mansion.
Oh, and I saw Laura leave to go to the lavatory.
Well, I think that'll be all.
Before you go, Mr. Cloke, I have to tell you something about Lord Edison.
Is it important?
I think it might change it.
The key to this whole business is piecing together the little things. Because the nervous conscious always makes tiny, seemingly insignificant slip-ups. At 8:30 this evening, we discovered the body of Lord Edison. He had been cleverly killed. Just one swing from the pendulum of the clock. Just one swing, and life ended for the poor old man.
Please, Anthony, do you have to go into such detail?
But it's the little things that make all the difference, as I outlined before. Like the time on the clock, the locked window, and the weight of the pendulum. Let me begin with you.
Yes, begin with me, because I know who did it. It was Anthony and Laura. Lord Edison didn't want them to get married, so they had to get him out of the way. And as bonus, they inherited a nice sum of money.
Laura and I had the perfect motive. We even had the perfect timing. I wish it were that simple. No, neither Laura or I murdered Arthur Edison. You see, Laura went to the lavatory at 8:05. She could easily have killed Lord Edison. But it was still before 8:15, which was when the pendulum was removed from the clock. Or was it? I worked out that the murder had in fact been committed between 7:50 and 7:55. To give themselves an alibi, the murderer changed the time on the clock before removing the pendulum. Before I move on to the murder, I'd like to point out a few things which were told to me by the butler. He is in fact Lord Edison's brother, and not only that, he also worked for Scotland Yard. But they weren't looking for a murderer. They were after a gang of counterfeit money producers, led by none other than Lord Arthur Edison.
It fits. He didn't want me marrying a police officer. He thought you might find him out.
When Colin found out about his brother's gang, he contacted Scotland Yard, who used him as a spy. This has been going on ever since France 1902.
What's France got to do with this? That was 20 years ago.
Nearly everyone here was there in the summer of 1902 in France. But unbeknown to anyone else, Georgina Edison was making friends. Close friends.
Who are you talking about?
Lady Edison, you are in love with Richard Mimon.
What? No, you said it was foolproof.
I do protest!
Keep an eye on them.
Anthony, explanation, please.
After they met in France, they couldn't be married. Lady Edison was already married, but Mimon was employed and couldn't leave the country until 1919.
I loved Arthur. I did. It's just I love Richard more.
So you killed him.
No, Georgina didn't kill anyone. That would have been too obvious. I did. It was simple. I drove up to the house, climbed through the window, and waited for that old brute. Then I killed him.
He fixed the clock so as to accuse one of you lot and then left. But then something happened that we didn't expect. Richard's car broke down. Can you imagine the shock I got when he turned up at 8 o'clock?
How could you, Mother?
It was all in the name of love.
Get your hands off her. Anthony, ring the police.
They're already on their way.
Why?
Because he loved her.
Why us? Why our father?
The world's not like that. But there are bad eggs. And there will always be bad eggs. But they will always be found out.